Today, I'm gonna make a video about Tool, one of my favorite rock bands. I'm gonna switch it up a little bit today. Now, how'd I get into rock? I mean, I guess we were all kind of into rock, right? We go from the beginning. We probably remember liking Metallica, Enter Sandman, Nirvana, Smells Like Teen Spirit, but back then it was like a guilty pleasure. Everything was really separate and divided. It had to be one or the other. It's not like today. The iPod, I might have mentioned this in one of the earlier videos, but the iPod changed everything. It made people, it kind of broke those barriers that genres previously had, that pick a side kind of thing. But before this would take place, me and my crew, or some of us, started to break away from just kind of listening to hip hop, which was strange because strange for most people, because I'd be walking around the neighborhood with a boombox. Now, generally, the kid with the boombox is playing hip hop. I'd be playing Bjork, I'm playing Portishead, I'm playing Korn, Tool, Tori Amos, Alanis Morissette. I'm playing all of this alternative music in the neighborhood, and basically wherever I went, I was playing this shit. And then feeling the power of it and really walking around spazzing. People must have thought I was insane. So, you have a band like Tool. Now, the average rock person doesn't get into Tool right away. They are going to, they might start off with something a little bit more, what I call entry-level stuff, especially if you're transitioning from hip-hop to rock. You're probably going to get into something like Korn, because Korn has a very hip-hop vibe to it. You really like bob your head to it as you would a hip-hop track. So, pardon me, I gotta have my coffee because at a certain time of night I'm tired, and this caffeine is keeping me going. So, you start off with Korn, you get something like Tool. Now, the depth of Tool might not be apparent upon first listen. Most people, the way they get into music is they check something out and then they see if it moves them, if it does something for them. If it doesn't do something for them, they generally tend to turn away. It's pretty rare that they're going to give things a fourth, a fifth, a sixth, a seventh, a 10th chance. It's either, did it catch me? Oh, I don't like this. Oh, I do like this. And that's your general listener. I'm not the general listener. Once I began to understand that everything is rhythm, right? It's just a rhythm, a melody, harmony, But that's essentially what it is some kind of rhythm being carried. The sound is just the outfit that the rhythm is wearing. So, I mean, it could be hip-hop, it could be a hip-hop rhythm, it could be a rock rhythm, but your ear is going to have to adjust to what it's going to register as noise in the beginning, you know what I'm saying? But once you make that adjustment, you now find that you're able to like almost any brand of music. Now, certain things you might not connect with. I don't connect particularly to jazz or country, but I'm sure there'll be some dope-ass country or jazz shit that I can really rock with. I'm like Nina Simone. I rock with Nina Simone heavy. So you get in, you got your entry-level stuff. You understand rhythm is, sound is just the outfit that rhythm is wearing. And now you're able to move past the entry level and start to get into some other things. Now, when you get into Tool, right? What do you have? You have some pretty heavy, and in the early days, dark stuff. So, and you have a frontman who is not so in your face. Maynard's vocals were kind of playing the background Maynard classified himself as 25% of the band. It's different than most frontmen in a rock band. They kind of have the aura of like, I am this thing. I am the face of this thing, and I am going to present myself in, such a way. Maynard was not that way. Maynard was, I'm 25% of this. When you get into the writing of Maynard, you're going to realize that I like to classify Maynard as the writer in his genre. I find that there is a particular depth in the writing, in the backstory of Maynard, that you're not going to quite find in every frontman of a rock band. And I'm saying rock band is a broad, definition, because that's a very big umbrella, this rock, right? But for the sake of, rock band. You look at the early work, you see a lot of anger. This anger seems to be directed at Jesus, God. Well, why? Why is somebody angry at Jesus? I mean, some pretty direct, calm down, get off your fucking cross. We need it for new space to nail the next full martyr. This is a deep-rooted hatred. Why? What's the backstory? You look at the later works. There's an album called 10,000 Days. The album was called 10,000 Days because Maynard's mother, as I understand it, was paralyzed. And this happened when Maynard was 11. So and forgive me if I get any details wrong. I'll explain to you how I got whatever information I had gotten. But I believe this is pretty accurate. When he was 11, his mother was a very devout believer. Maynard's anger seemed to stem from the fact that you place all of your faith in his mind, I suppose, deity, and look what he gave you in return. Suppose it would be a worthy cause for you to be angry, if any. A good number of songs against Jesus. Jesus wants his fucking whistle. You look at Perfect Circle, another band that Maynard was a frontman of. He did it all for you. The sarcasm. Saying, and he's saying, fight your God, your Lord, your Christ. So much anger and pain and hurt because of this dynamic, this believer who has had everything stripped from her. And the song Jimmy, his name is Maynard James Keenan, so I suppose they called him Jimmy. And the song Jimmy, I believe it was the song Jimmy, where he says, what was it like to see the face of your own stability suddenly look away, leaving you with the dead and hopeless? What was it like to see the face of your own stability suddenly look away? The feeling of abandonment, the face of your stability looks away from you. 11 and she was gone. 11 is when we wave goodbye. 11 is standing still, waiting for me to free her by coming home. there is a immense amount of depth in this writing. And it is the kind of depth that comes from deep, internal pain. You have the early works where all the pain is. You have songs like Prison Sex. Many assume Maynard was raped because there was a song of one of the lines in Prison Sex is he says, I have found some kind of temporary sanity in this shit, blood and cum on my hands. And he's talking about how, because it do unto others what has been done to you. You're breathing, so I guess you're still alive, even if signs seem to tell me otherwise. Won't you calm down? Come a little closer. All of this very, very, very heavy, deep, internal anguish being expressed through raw emotion. And very, what I consider phenomenal writing. Would eventually be extinguished by what would come as some form of healing. We move on from opiate, undertow, anima. I should touch on Stinkfist from Anima. There's a lot of things I can touch on, but from all these albums, it's dark, it's deep, and it's painful. But there is a very noticeable difference in content and in music as the band develops and evolves from Anima to Lateralis. Now, we get to Lateralis. The content changes. I don't believe there's a song on there where he's angry at Jesus on the Lateralis album. No, I don't. This is a healing phase that he's going through. This album, was it this album? Yes. This album introduces me to the work of Alex Gray. Now, my last video was based on acid. You know, in my experience from it, there were other experiences where, you know, the man who discovered DNA was supposedly on acid when doing so. You know, psychedelics have brought humanity to some phenomenal levels. I still say I don't recommend doing it because I don't, you know, it's just, this type of shit ain't for everybody, and most of you are gonna end up, whatever, most of you are grown adults, I'm not gonna explain this. And when I put on YouTube, not for kids, is what I put it. Anyway. This album introduced me to the works of Alex Gray, because that's who did their artwork. And that was amazing. I think it was called the Chapel of Sacred Mirrors, something like that. And we went to this place, these larger and humongous paintings, so elaborate, very intense art. After Lateralis, they follow up with 10,000 Days. 10,000 Days. And it's named after his mother, who passes away. And there's a song on there. It's a two-part song, and it's called Wings for Marie. All of the pain and anger that this man has previously had for something that I guess the only thing he can possibly direct his anger for his mother's misfortune at would be God. The very thing that she devoted herself to up until the end. Here you have a man once broken. And he says, he has lines in this song where he says, fetch the audacity. Fetch me the Spirit, the Son, and the Father. Tell them their pillar of faith has ascended. Fetch me. Who are you telling to go fetch? Who are you speaking to? What plateau have you placed yourself on to suggest somebody fetch you, the highest of the highs? Fetch me the Spirit, the Son, and the Father. Tell them their pillar of faith has ascended. Now, you see an appreciation coupled with a defiance. I will take myself out of my lack of belief and step into the mindset of my beloved mother who believed until the end. True belief. When everything was taken away. That's faith. And in honor of her, tell them their pillar of faith has ascended. It's time now. Give me my wings. The stage, the music set, the power, the depth, the resolution of it all. This is the story of Maynard as I've come to know it as a fan of the band Tool. And I view this in such amazement and appreciation for it. It is like the whole collection was just this story, just unveiling itself in real time. That's why I'm a Tool fan.